Hi guys, welcome back again to another Flutter tutorial, and in this session we will be dealing with future async and await methods in Dart. Okay, why we need to go for this future async and await method is, so first of all, this future await and async methods are actually pure Dart syntax where we will be making use of this stuff in cases like network call or API sync or backend fetch and so on. And for these scenarios, we'll be using this stuff. And speaking out is we'll be using this stuff in cases where we are unsure of the execution time. Say for example, we are actually writing a function that makes an API call to the backend server. Okay, and that time we will be unsure, we are uncertain of the time it takes for executing those steps. Okay, the execution time we would actually depend on various factors in such cases like the internet coverage or the network bandwidth or the server side and all those. Okay, we are actually unsure of the execution time and the what's happening behind me the screen. Okay, and in such cases we are supposed to move on to future async method to make sure that the code runs as expected. Okay, we are getting the result what we actually need to get. Okay, in such cases we will be moving on to these functions, and let's get started with the coding part. So visualization of how to use this future async and await methods in Dart. Okay, then main that file I have just navigated to the my class, and in my file class I will be writing the coding stuff here. Okay, and what I will be actually developing is that I just want a button click, and the button is pressed, I will be just triggering to actually triggering a function call, and inside this function call is what we will be having the future and async method. Okay, first let me develop the UI first. Let me create an app bar with the title as text, which says example app. Okay, and after the app bar let me create the body, and the UI will be very much simple. Okay, I'm not concentrating on the good looking UI for now. Okay, let me have a container for the body, and the container will be taking a child which is the flat button. Okay, this flat button will be taking a child which is again a text which says click me, and the most important for the function flag button is the on press event. Okay, now let me just write that. Okay, and inside this on press I just want to call my custom function. Let me give the name as my function 1. Okay, and let me just create a initial value. Okay, so this is what the initial value what we will be providing. So I'll be modifying this value and just explaining how it modifies based on future and without future async method. Okay, first let me just define the my function 1. Okay, and first let me print and show you what the initial value it holds. Actually it will be printing 0. Okay, and again a print statement, the updated value which is okay. Here before this I'll be calling another function which is my function 2. Okay, and let me define that as well here. So I just return an integer value Okay, this my function, inside this my function 2, I'll be setting the value as 1 and I'll be returning that value. Okay, so what I have actually done here is that I'll be calling, so let me just have this at the center placed. Okay, so I'll be calling this my function 1. Okay, this my function 1 will be printing the initial value what we have defined over here as 0, and I will be calling this my function 2, and inside this my function 2 I have set the value as 1 and returning that value, and this value will now hold the, that is the value as 1, and I just want the updated value to be printed as 1, and the output would be like 0 and 1. That's what I think. So let's just check it out. So let me click on this. Okay, and if you see here, we are actually getting the value as expected. Okay, but do you think this would be the case for all scenarios? Say for example, this is a very simple or basic function where the execution time is comparatively faster than the Dart compiler. Okay, since it is a, this does not deal with any uh, high-end business logic, so it is actually modifying, or it is actually executing much faster than actually what the Dart compiler actually takes executing. Okay, say for example, this function, here in this function I just want a network call. Okay, which actually takes roughly 2 seconds, maybe a minutes in certain cases. Okay, just have it in mind, just this my function 2, I just want to have a network call that takes 2 seconds for executing. That is, it makes a request and response it gets. So the entire duration would be uh, roughly 2 seconds. Okay, I can't write that coding stuff here for this demo. So for that, let me create a custom delay function just to mimic the duration it takes for executing as a backend stuff. Okay, so let me create uh, custom delay using the future.delayed function, and let me pass the duration parameter in terms of seconds. Let me set the seconds as 2. Okay, and inside this second, inside this 2 second, let me delay, let me just paste this function or this value, modified value. Okay, I just want this function to update the value as 1 after 2 seconds. Okay, now if we run this code again, do you think we will be getting the same result as we got before? I don't think so. Okay, so if you check on the console, we'll be getting the value as 0 and 0. So what is actually happening is the Dart compiler gets, this line gets printed, the Dart compiler compiles this line, and it now calls the my function 2. Okay, and it comes inside, and it sees, it actually executes this statement, but it actually goes to the waiting state, because it is taking 2 seconds for executing. So it actually, the Dart compiler makes this task or makes this thread to go on to the waiting state. Okay, and it actually returns the same value as before. That is why we are getting the 0, updated value is 0. Okay, in order to avoid this, or in order to get the value as what we expected, we just need to make use of future and async method. So here is, here in the scene is what future async plays the role. Okay, and I just now, to in order to get the value as expected, I just want the Dart to say wait, just wait till this my function 2 gets completed. Okay, so I'm using the keyword await, and as I'm using await, I just need to make use of async. Okay, async and future will come together. Okay, now I'm saying the Dart just to wait till the function 2 completely gets executed. Okay, so as I am using await, await will be used only for future methods. So let me also add future here, and as I'm using future, we need to make use of async modifier. Okay, so I'm just saying the that as just wait till this my function 2 gets completed executing completely. Okay, and do you think this would also give the result? Similarly, in now also we are getting the initial value as 0 and the updated value as 0. Oh, what's actually wrong? What's going wrong here is I am actually saying the that to wait till this function completes executing. So if I give a print statement over here, and at the end let me give another print statement. Okay, see, it is actually entering the function, it is actually leaving the function. So for the dart, it is just for the dart it knows it is printing and it is leaving the function, so it actually concludes that it has actually completed executing that function. So that this future dot delayed is taking a big time or a high computation time to get compiled. So dot is unaware of that. So we are not saying that to wait till this future or this task gets completed. So we need to provide await over here as well. So now we are saying that to just move on to this function, just print this one and wait till this task gets completed. Okay, and after this task complete, then only you need to print this end statement. Okay, and let me check this time what the output would be. So here we are actually getting the output what we have expected. So it is printing the initial value, it's entering the function and it is leaving the function with the updated value as 1. Okay, so in order to visualize what is happening, let's just have a higher delay, and let me clear the console and run it again. See here, it is entering the function and it is waiting for 5 seconds, and after this 5 seconds gets completed, it is printing the end, and then we are getting the updated value. Okay, and we use await for this function, that is for completing this function, as well as await for the task which takes higher computation time. Okay, this time we are getting the value or we are getting the output as expected. So this is where the future and async plays a major role. Okay, this would be very much helpful for dealing with the backend stuff and the network calling and all those. So thanks for watching guys, and that's it. Don't forget to subscribe and I will see you in the next video. Bye.